Hey y'all, and welcome back to a hell of a podcast. Do y'all see what I see? The aesthetic is aestheticing, okay? The scene is scenering. You hear me? Do y'all like this background? Like, I'm in love with this background. I have recorded in this place 3 other times. Like the times that y'all have seen where I was sitting on the pink couch, that was this location. And I never knew that this was in here. Why? I have no idea. Discovered it today and I was like, I gotta record there. But anyways, y'all, welcome back to a hell of a podcast. Cheers to episode 3, y'all. Cheers to episode 3. So what's new? What's new? Life be lifing, ain't nothing too much new. We just doing what we do. No, but if y'all see my video I posted on Instagram the other day, the TWK podcast, which is my second podcast, has officially dropped and aired and is available on Apple Podcasts for you guys to go listen to, as well as YouTube for you guys to go watch the video on. So make sure y'all go check that out. I actually just got done filming an episode for TWK podcast, which will drop, and it's going to drop when y'all see it on Friday. I have just been in my mind, y'all. My mind has been overflown with ideas. You know, when you start something and you like, oh, this is a great idea. Like, I'm going to pour into this. And once you start pouring into that, all these other great ideas start into the surface. That's the mode that I've been in lately. Like, the days have been running into each other. Sleep has barely been got, but that's okay. Because when you on a mission, when you want to work hard to get to where you want to go, sleep when you done, not when you tired. You sleep when you're done, not when you're tired. Y'all know life is a contradiction. It's just random, but I was thinking that on my way here. I was like, life is such a contradiction. Like, there's so much stuff that you're supposed to do, but if you do it the right way, you miss out on getting things done. And just for instance, the quote that I just said, you sleep when you get done, not when you get tired. But when you think about life, you're like, dang, we got to find balance in life. We got to make sure that in exercises that we rest and recover and things of that nature. But it's just like, when do you find time to do that when you on the go, when you're trying to get things done? But yeah, I just want to say that, y'all. I had an epiphany and I realized, like, dang, life is really a contradiction. But anyway, that's what's been going on in my life. I just have so many business ventures that I'm trying to dip and dive into, but I'm trying not to overwhelm myself and tell myself, like, hey, take it one day at a time. Like, it's going to come when it's supposed to come. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to not say and you know what I mean throughout this episode, but I said I'm gonna try. Don't hold me to it, because I'm still a work in progress, okay? Outside of that, everything else has been cool. In terms of the podcast, I am happy with where it's going. It is a little hard. I touched base on this a couple weeks ago when I think last week, honestly, when I dropped my last episode. I made a business decision to decide to really just do it all by myself. It's not something that I had to do, just a decision again that I made, because in the beginning, there was someone that was actually recording my episodes for me, doing the production side of things, but I had to realize, like, this is my purpose, this is my passion, and I can't, and this is no shade to that person because I wholeheartedly appreciate him, he know who he is, but he had a life of his own too, and things that he had to, tend to and take care of, and I can't drag my feet or wait on someone else to be there for me with something that I want to pursue. Sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands and do what you gotta do. So that's what's been going on. I've been doing what I have to do. But in the midst of that, it has been hard, y'all, because I'm doing it by myself. I don't have a partner. I don't have no co-host. Somebody sitting in the seat over there. This is all Kenya, and there's nothing wrong with that. I take pride in it, and we're gonna make it happen. So that's all that matters. Whew, y'all. Do you know where growth comes from, or where growth starts? Let's talk about that for a little bit. So when you're in a position where you want to change your life, right? Or you want to see different outcome, or you want to do different things, what all does that entail? For me, I came up with, it's all about stepping outside of your comfort zone. We got to stop being complacent and comfortable with where we are because being comfortable doesn't allow you to grow. It makes you stay stagnant, actually. So let's be okay with putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I challenge you to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because again, you will never get nowhere in life just doing the same thing over and over again. You got to switch it up. You got to take a leap of faith. Don't let the fear keep you from doing what you want to do. I want to put that out there for anybody who that message is for. It's for somebody. I don't know who it's for, but I'm talking to you. So what we're going to talk about in today's episode, y'all? I wanted to talk about standing on business today. And I'm going to try my best to follow my notes because in the TWK podcast, I wrote some notes down last night, fell asleep in the midst of writing those notes down. And I was like, you know what? I just got to wing it. I just got to allow God to let the episode go where it's supposed to go and let the words flow out my mouth the way that they're supposed to. It may have been all over the place. I don't think that I know for sure I didn't touch everything that I wanted to touch, but I got my point across. I got my message across, and that's what matters most. I mean, it's a podcast. There's so many more episodes that can be recorded, and that's perfectly fine. What I didn't get to say today, I'll be able to say in another episode. You know what I mean? I wanted to talk about standing on business because a couple of days ago, I found myself in a situation where it caused me to self-reflect and realize when it comes to standing on business, I'm definitely still a work in progress. I definitely still got a lot of work to do. There, for these last few months, I found myself saying like, yeah, like I'm genuinely standing on business. Like I'm doing it. Like that's what I've been doing. And then boom, a couple of days ago, I just found myself not standing on business. I was actually falling on business. So if anybody else can resonate where I'm coming from, let me know in the comments or comment in the comment section. Let me know, like, do y'all have a hard time standing on business? You can find yourself doing what you're supposed to do. It could be weeks, months, and even a year. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, we only human, right? Things happen, and sometimes we find ourselves going back to what we said we wouldn't go back to or doing something that we said we weren't going to do. So let's just be real with ourselves. But yeah, I had that self-realization moment where I was just like, you know what? You got to do better, Kenya. You got to do better. And I was like, I'm going to talk about this on my podcast because I'm pretty sure some other people know where I'm coming from. So before we dive super deep into it, let's talk about what standing on business mean, right? What does that mean to y'all? Ask yourself, what does standing on business really mean to me? What does it really, really mean? To me, standing on business means to take care of your responsibilities, follow through with what you say you're going to do, and stick to your values. What a person standing on business looks like is someone who's committed to their goals, responsibilities, even when they're distracted. Even when that person, that place, or that thing comes in their way, they know how to move past that distraction and keep that tunnel vision and stay focused on whatever it is that they committed themselves to, that goal, that whatever it is that they said they weren't going to do. That's what standing on business truly means. You make a commitment to yourself and you follow through with it. I'll be the first to admit that standing on business is a struggle for me. And notice I said is and not was. It's definitely something that I am still working through. Okay? I have not accomplished that avenue in my life yet. We're a work in progress, like I said before. And also, before I continue, let me just say one thing. One thing I'm going to always do on this podcast is be as transparent as I possibly can. I have definitely had my fair share of days of trying to conform my responses and conversation to please other people. But that version of me is long gone. That's Kenya back 10 plus years ago. And I thank God for growth. I'm never going to act like my shit don't stink, right? I'm going to be as transparent as possible, like I said. Tell it like it is, my experiences. I'm not one to never say never. I don't really like to never say never because you never know what life will throw your way, right? But you will hardly ever hear me speak on a situation that I haven't been through myself. That's just not who I am. I don't like to open my mouth up and talk about something that I haven't been through. So I just had to put that little disclaimer out there. But yeah, let's actually cheers to that. Let's cheers to that. Thank God for growth. I had to say that because even with recording the episode for my TWK podcast and talking about the subject that I talked about, it just took me back to my childhood days and my teenage years, of where it took me a long time to find who I was, because I was so busy trying to conform to other people and tailor my responses to make sure that it pleased them. And because I did that so much, it was hard for me to know who Kenya was and what I actually liked and what I didn't like and things of that nature. So yeah, thank God for growth. I jumped off topic a little bit, but I just had to say that. Before we continue, let me ask y'all a question though. If y'all watching this on YouTube, sorry. If you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, you don't even know what's going on, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and tell y'all, because I gotta explain to my YouTube family why the first part of my video shows me in this beautiful freaking setting, and why the second part of this video I'm sitting in the freaking car. So I recorded this episode, the full freaking episode, and it cut off at like 13 minutes. It cut off at 13 minutes as soon as I said, so let me ask y'all a question. The episode literally cut off and I was not recording. And unfortunately, this particular episode I recorded on my phone instead of my camera. My camera has a flip screen so I can tell if the video is still recording. Well, my camera has a lot of storage on there from previous episodes that I've recorded. So I was like, well, I'll just pull out my phone and do my hell of a podcast episode on that one. It's not going to be too long. Y'all, I'm so hurt. I'm so freaking hurt. I finished the freaking episode. I'm packing up. I'm getting ready to leave this freaking space that I rented out, all just to see that my freaking video ended at 12 minutes. And mind you, I had the space for 2 hours, thinking I was going to do an hour for TWK, thinking I was going to do an hour for a hell of a podcast. Well, it took me so long to set up that most of that time, and I got so deep into the TWK podcast episode that I recorded, that I had to request an additional hour to finish my freaking, or to do my episode for a hell of a podcast. Minor setback for a major comeback. They can't hold a real nigga down for too long. I gotta continue the episode in the car. We gonna make it happen by any means necessary. I'm not renting the space for no extra hour, nothing. We finna finish this episode in the car and we gonna go on about our business, okay? So, like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the camera deciding to cut off on me. I had wanted to ask y'all a question. And the question that I was going to ask y'all was, how many of y'all have said, oh, this dude got me messed up, I'm standing on business. Oh, this female got me standing on business. Or, if anybody call my phone, ask for anything, the answer is no. No is my new word. I'm standing on business. Can't nobody get this from me. Can't nobody get that from me. I'm standing on business. Then boom, a couple weeks later, a couple months later, whatever, you find yourself doing that very thing that you said you weren't gonna do. Cause Kiki done called you and asked you if she could take you from Dallas to Irving and she was gonna pay you $5. You get up in your car and you gonna do it. Your homeboy call you and ask you to buy her $10. You know dang well this nigga never really pay you back, and you send her and cash up him the money. You said that this nigga can't come. You said that this man or this woman can't come in your space no more because they don't respect who you are, your boundaries, but they don't whisper some sweet little nothings in your ear, and you just miss their presence, and the vibe is there, and you allow them back in your space. You pick up that phone, you answer that text again, and boom, you find yourself doing again those very same things that you said you weren't gonna do. Come on. Am I talking to somebody? I know I'm talking to somebody. Don't even worry about it. I'm somebody guilty. I'm that person. That's definitely 100% me. I'm that person that say, I ain't gonna do this no more. I ain't gonna do that no more. And then boom, I find myself doing it. And listen, this is not to cast judgment on anybody, because I've had my fair share of saying that I was gonna stand on business and then find myself falling on business. So I'm not here to judge you. Don't judge me. We can't judge each other. Only God can judge us. Period. All right. We just gotta, take accountability. We gotta take accountability. Listen, the devil is busy, but we gonna get this episode recorded and finished by any means necessary. Okay. Phone went hot. Cut off the video. Ain't nothing stopping us from finishing episode 3 of a hell of a podcast. If we gotta go through a hell of a lot of shit to talk about a hell of a lot of shit, then that's just what we gotta do. Gotta do what we gotta do. Before the phone ran hot, posing the question, why is it that it's hard for us to stand on business? We don't talk about what stand on business means. We talked about, having those slip ups where we fall on business. And now I want to get to the root cause of that. Why is it that it's hard for us to stand on business? So last night I was thinking about this, and I was coming up with a couple of answers myself. Some of the reasons that I think that it's hard for just people in general, for myself, to stand on business. And this is what I came up with. So it's a couple things, right? One, you'll hear people say, I'm only human. I'm guilty of it. I say that a lot. Like, charges for my mind, not my heart. Like, I'm only human. I mess up. We mess up. We do. You know what I'm saying? There's simply insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. That's insanity. Some of us are just insane. Okay? Guilty of that too. Then here are some of the other things that I came up with. Comfort and familiarity, for being comfortable basically with stuff that you're familiar with. So what I mean by that is, it's where the known feels safer than the unknown. You know what I mean? So I know this person, or I know this situation, or I know what the outcome of this is going to be. It's a temporary good feeling for me. When the times are good, they're really good. And so that's what I'm going to think about. So because I'm familiar with this thing or this person or this place, I'm just going to continue to indulge in it because that's what I'm used to. So comfort and familiarity. It's habit. It's habit. It's a habit for me to react this way. It's a habit for me to do this. It's a habit for me to pick up for this person. It's a habit for me to show up here. It's a habit for me to put this person's feelings before mine. It's a habit for me to just accept what anybody else is giving me. It's you know what I'm saying? Things that come second nature. It's because it's habit to you. Again, comfortability. You comfortable with it. That's what you used to. The last one, y'all, is really just lack of awareness. There are genuinely some people that don't see what's in front of them until later on. I used to be that person. And it's not to say like, well, let me not say that. It's just that I wasn't ready to accept what was in front of me. But you know what all those things have in common, y'all? It all has to do with the brain, the mind. And I talked about this a little bit in the TWK podcast, where I was saying, like, literally, when your mindset change, everything else will follow. Like, you have to conform your mind to be able to accept and acknowledge whatever it is that's going on that doesn't serve you a good purpose. You have to acknowledge again and accept it and move accordingly. If you continue to ignore the facts, if you continue to ignore what's in plain sight, then you will continue to get the same results. It's literally all about it's not rocket science. It's really not. It all comes down to your mind changing the way that you think. When you change the way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you react will follow that. Although it's not rocket science, it's also not a walk in the park. It's also not something that happens overnight. It takes time. It takes time to change who you are and what you do when you've been so used to being that person or doing that thing for so long in your life. So I'm not saying like it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that by any means. But I'm just saying, hey, be willing and open to change your mind and understand that in order for you to see a difference, you got to move different. You got to think different. You got to believe different. We got to be real with ourselves, y'all. We have to acknowledge and accept what's in plain sight, because if we don't, nothing will change. And let's talk about the steps of that, right? Let's talk about the steps of that. So the first thing is being aware. Being aware. A lot of us are aware. Like I just said, I was aware. I just wasn't ready to accept. So first you got to be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Once you're aware of what's going on, you got to acknowledge and accept it. Don't be in denial. Don't be in denial that this job is not paying you what you're worth. Don't be in denial that your business partner is trying to get over on you. Don't be in denial that this person that you're in a relationship really don't give a damn about you. Don't be in denial that your family members are using you. Don't be in denial that your friends are using you. Don't be in denial that these people don't really mess with you like that. Don't be in denial. You got to accept and acknowledge what is right in front of you. And then after you do that, create an action plan. Create an action plan. And after you do that, follow through. Show the action of that action plan. Don't just write it down. Don't just think about it, but actually move accordingly. Okay, well, I know that this person is using me. I know that every time they hit me up, they ask me for some money and then they don't pay me back. So what do? What am I going to do differently? I'm going to stand on business for real. I'm going to let this person know, hey, we're not doing that no more. You've shown me time and time again that I keep allowing you to borrow money and then you don't pay me back. When it comes to a relationship, hey, I'm setting standards and boundaries. Either you're going to respect me or you don't get to have a piece of me. You don't get to sit at my table. You don't get to be in my circle. And that just is what it is. Shit, again, platonic, romantic, business, all them type of relationships. Like, we got to start standing on business for real. We got to really start standing on business for real. You know what it is, y'all? This is what it really comes down to. What makes standing on business easier is knowing your worth. When you know your worth and when you know what you will and will not accept, it's a little bit easier to be disciplined about who you allow in your space, what places you allow yourself to be at, or environments that you allow yourself to be around, what vices you indulge in. You got to know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're worth. That's crazy. No, it's not crazy, but that's the truth. We got to start instilling this in our kids. And I say that because as a child, I didn't have that. I just recently started pouring into Kenya and my self-worth and setting boundaries and setting standards for myself. For me, it was all about other people. It was about people pleasing. It was about making sure that other people were happy and putting myself on the back burner. And you got to remember that you matter too. You got to remember that you matter too. It's not always about the other person. And again, if you're a parent with kids, instill that in your children. Speak positivity into their life. Compliment them. Speak confidence into them. Have them recite positive affirmations. It literally starts as a kid. I know, I'm speaking on me. I know there was a point in time where I felt like, dang, I'm teaching my son this and I'm teaching my son that and I'm doing this, I'm talking, and he just saying yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. But is he really retaining the information that I'm giving him? And I remember like a couple of months after I had told him something, he was in a back seat and we was just talking about something random. He was like, yeah, and like you told me, so and so and so and so. And I was like, that just validated the fact that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and he's actually retaining the information that he's listening. Y'all be thinking that these kids be listening. They listen to you just as much as they listen to all the yelling and fussing and all that cussing that y'all do. Speak positivity into these babies' lives. Teach them how to love themselves. Teach them how to set standards and boundaries so that other people don't get over on them. Again, whether that's in the business world, in the relationship world, friendship world, all that. Teach them that at an early age. And I promise you, they won't depart from that. They won't depart from that. They'll always have that voice in the back of the... You know how people be saying, I still had that voice in the back of my head when I was younger. My mom used to tell me this, and my mom used to talk to y'all babies. Allow y'all babies to talk to y'all. Open up. Share how they feel. What's going on in their minds. That matters. That matters. Whew. I jumped off topic again there, y'all. I started to think about my childhood. I'm really big on that. Really big on that. At the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that standing on business is not impossible. It's definitely possible. You just gotta want better for yourself. And again, that starts with the mind, changing how you think so that can follow in your action and reactions. And Not only just like wanting better for yourself, but genuinely believing that you deserve better. You gotta believe that shit. If you don't really believe it, like if you just think the thought but you don't actually believe it, it's not gonna go nowhere. That's not gonna do nothing. You can't think it and then not believe it for real. Believe that that's gonna happen. Believe that you deserve better. Believe that you are more. You are enough. You are you. And you deserve whatever it is you deserve. Believe that shit. Believe it, y'all. Because if you don't, you'll continue to allow messed up situations and messed up people into your life. And you'll continue to accept things that don't serve you no purpose. What's that saying? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. We got to stand for something. For sure. But yeah, I wanted to just bring that to y'all attention because I was thinking about that the other day. Like, ooh, girl, not you fail on business. Not you fail on business. Not you fail on business. And don't get so down on yourself, y'all. Like, if we're gonna fuck up, okay? At the end of the day, we're only human. The saying is genuinely real. We are only human. We're going to mess up along the way. But what matters most is what you do after that fuck up. Don't sit and soak in it. If you mess up, if you fall on business, say, hey, I did that thing. Take accountability for it, acknowledge it, and say, hey, I did that thing. I've been proven again that this doesn't serve me any purpose. Or I've been proven again that I allowed this person in my space and they still ain't showed me no type of different action. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing that no more. And stand on that. Stand on it. Write it down. Put it in your notes. Put it at your lock screen. Whatever it is you got to do to help you remain disciplined and be consistent, do that. Ooh, discipline and consistency. With anything in life that you're trying to accomplish or change, discipline and consistency is big. It starts with your mind. Your mind, like I said, once you change your mindset, everything else will follow. But after that, after you change your mindset, you got to remain consistent and you got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. That's a big one. People will try you. Life will try you. Not even just people. You'll find yourself in a situation that you thought like, dang, I ain't think I was going to be in this situation. Life will try you. But it's up to you to decide how you're going to react in this situation. Understand and know that you have the power to control how you react in certain situations. Let's stop blaming people for causing us to do what it is that we decided to do. Yes, somebody might yell at you. Yes, somebody might cuss you out. Yes, somebody might flick you off. Yes, somebody might get down on you. But just because they did that doesn't mean that you have to react in a way of yelling back at them, getting down, fighting fire with fire. You have the power to choose how you decide to react in any situation. And I get it. Again, I will come back to saying we are only humans. Sometimes our emotions get the best of us. I've been there. I've done that. Been there and I've done that. But when you think about it, just think about it. Think about every situation that you've been in where you reacted in a negative way. Or where you reacted with trying to get back at them the way that they got back at you. Where did that leave you? Did that make you feel better? Maybe for that moment. But later on in life, guess what? You were still alone. You were still mad. You were still sad. You were still hurt. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to walk away. The best thing to do is just to not react at all. And that speaks volumes itself. Something that I'm definitely still working on. Learning how to control my emotions and the way that I react in certain situations. Again, I'm a work in progress. I don't have everything figured out. But I am figuring a lot of shit out. And that's one of the other reasons why I started this podcast. I've figured out a lot of shit through motivational speeches, through reading, through, you know what I'm saying? And just changing my mind matters. It matters, y'all. It matters. It matters. I can't stress enough. I can't stress it enough. Like, it literally matters. It literally matters. But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everyone that tuned in for episode 3 of A Hell of a Podcast, where we talk about SOB, standing on business. And just remember, we got this, y'all. I got this. You got this. And if you fuck up along the way, learn from it. Do better the next time. And keep it pushing. All right, keep it pushing. By the way, before I end the episode, y'all, remember to hit me up on hellofapodcast1@gmail.com. If you have a topic that you want to hear discussed, if you have a story that you want to have told, if you need advice on a certain situation, you want to hear from myself and my guests, you can leave your name and your social media handle, or you can remain anonymous, whatever you want to do. That's your business. That's your business, but stand on business. You know what? Before I actually close out the episode, y'all, I ain't got none in this cup, but let's cheers. Cheers, y'all. Cheers to standing on business. Cheers to standing on business with our finances. Standing on business with relationships. I'm talking about the platonic and the romantic ones with your families members, your friends, your business partners, your lovers, your husband, your wife, your all them. We standing on business with ourselves in terms of health, in terms of physical health, mental health. We standing on business with ourselves in terms of working towards letting go of bad habits, people that serve us no purpose, places that we know we don't need to be, and that just don't aid in a better us. So yeah, cheers to standing on business, y'all. Cheers to standing on freaking business. I hope y'all enjoy episode 3. I know it was all over the place in terms of the video. I apologize. Like I said, by any means necessary, I was going to get this upload done for y'all today. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you took away something. And just remember, when it comes to standing on business, I'm going to leave y'all with two quotes. Pain from discipline is better than pain from regret. Think about that. And the second one that I'm going to leave y'all with is, don't make permanent decisions off of temporary feelings. So when you find yourself about to fall on business, I want y'all to think about those two quotes that I just said to y'all. So yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in to episode 3 of the Hell of a Podcast. And I'll catch y'all later so we can continue to talk about a hell of a lot of shit. I love y'all. Bye.